What is up, you geeky fucks? You ready for Infinitale Chronicles book number 1? It's made by Chris Fisk, and if you want to look at any of his other stuff, or book number 2, check the links below. Let's go. Our tale begins on the alien world Esperia. Looks sexy already, doesn't it? And on the planet, you got the Elvar, or however the fuck you say it. And these elf-looking bastards are under the ruling of God. In the planet's early days, the gods nutted on the grass to create this elf race. And this is what happened to the elves that didn't obey their gods. And the queen elf is about to pop out a baby anytime soon. Luckily for her, it's a success. After we cut to a child being interrupted in the middle of the night by the Hamburglar. Just kidding. She's actually interrupted by a mass of light, which wisps away as she chases it through the halls. She then moves outside and watches as a statue of the gods crumbles, and she is brought to the Forbidden City, which she warns the wisp of light to not enter. And she meets a big-ass dragon who's been hitting the fucking weights, and she says, "We're not supposed to be here." And the dragon says, "This is exactly where you're supposed to be." The dragon warns her that the gods are pulling a little bit of shenanigans, doing a little bit of lying, doing a little bit of trolling, and you should not trust them, and you gotta rebel. Then he turns into a statue and crumbles. Suddenly, the queen wakes up from that cracked fever dream, and the king walks up to her, holding their smug-ass looking baby. He says, "Don't be disappointed," and she says, "Disappointed? Yeah, you're right, I am. Look how smug this motherfucker is." Not really. But the king says, "Who cares? We have a prince." They bring the queen herbs and shit, and she just passes out, causing her to be brought into another fever dream. The mysterious ass light appears in front of her once again, and she questions it by asking, "Who are you?" And it says, "Ya mother." No, it actually kinda says that. It also mentions the name Zevlon, which is a good name to know because that's what the gods have codenamed their son that they're about to harvest. Yeah, nice dudes. And obviously they're both not having that, so they're gonna go against them. With a lot of difficulty, the king goes off with his soldiers to discover the Forgotten City. And in it, they discover a multi-headed dragon, so they're not having a good time because they're getting gobbled up like fucking chicken nuggets. We got some badass feats here. They're being thrown around by the dragon, dodging the dragon's attacks. They even cut it open. But guess what? It has acid blood, bitch! But luckily, the wound was enough to defeat the dragon. And with it, crumbling everything down, causing all this destruction, it reveals a pathway. They walk down the stairs into the darkness where they hear noises. Inside, they look at a book and they hear a voice that says, "Seek out those that can." And the book closes and the temple starts to collapse around them. They get out alive, but they're stopped by these weird looking dudes, where they capture them for a bit, then drag them out into an open field. The king doesn't want to submit to these beasts, but he meets the Chief Galinar, and he tells him, "You've been a slave to these gods the whole time." But the king's got beef. See, he's a little racist to these guys. No, but he views them as animals, nothing more. But the chief, in summary, tells him that we are all slaves and we should work on changing the future together. And as he walks off, he tells them that the book they found in that temple is very valuable. It's called the Book of Dragons. You see, the elves couldn't read the language in the dragon book because the dragon language was something that all of the people of Esperia once spoke. The book shows what they were all created from. The mother Teniu, and you can see her in the middle of the tree. You got the elves, you got the fauns, and then you got the Fomir, whatever, the fucking fondlers that were created. You see, the fondlers is a fitting title because those giants rose from the sea and just started devouring people. And those they didn't devour, they just took control of and enslaved. So they weren't really gods, they were more giants that claimed to be gods, and then the elves started making sacrifices for them and considering those sacrifices as acts of mercy. The book proceeds to explain the creation of the universe. It was essentially a crystal that exploded, kind of like the Big Bang, and now all of this essence and energy resides within them. But the book hints at the idea that they could wield the magic of the gods. The Elven King says that he can't read the book, but the chief says he'll teach him. And then he asks, well, what happens if I decide to wield the power and essentially fuck you guys over? He says, nothing. We couldn't do shit. And that, my friends, wraps up the Infinitale Chronicles Book 1. Like the video if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy the video, don't be a pussy. Like the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.